Are you gay or struggling to come out, whatever that means? I have 2 stories of coming out in my family that I'm going to share in this podcast and give you some powerful takeaways to make your coming out more connected. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Rainbow Hilton, the podcast that helps lost and lonely gay youth slay suicide and live. Are you coming out or struggling to come out? I know I had a couple coming out stories in my family. One of them was mine, obviously, but the other one was my brother. And he was 10 years older than me. And when I was 10 years old, he came out of the closet. And my family at the time decided the best thing to do with that information was to go to the church. And the pastor of the church told my mother that the only solution to this is excommunicate him from the family and cut off all ties. And even in my 10-year-old mind, I was like, that doesn't feel Christian. That doesn't sound Christian. And I refused to be a part of it. One cool thing my mom did do in my past is she did drive me the 2 hours to see my brother once in a while. And she sat on one side of the restaurant and we got to hang out and catch up on the other side. But that lasted for 6 years until finally I sat my mom down and said, okay, you want to play the Christian game? What would Jesus do? Would Jesus abandon his own flesh and blood? I don't think so. So if that's really what you think, then be that. So she invited him and his boyfriend at the time for Christmas. But what he walked into was insane. My sister made him eat off of paper plates because every gay person has AIDS. AIDS was a big thing at the time. Not that it's not now, but it was different back then. And every present was wrapped in pink paper. And so it was bullying and humiliating what we said that we were going to accept. And my brother still showed up. He still does. Everything's cleaned up. Everyone's happy now, cleaned, clear. But I'm sure my brother doesn't forget that. I know I won't. So when I came out, I had a different perspective. I learned from watching my brother that if you're vulnerable and weak of saying, hey, this is who I am, you're going to get punished. So just make it powerful and don't give them an option. So when I first started dating a guy, one of the first things I did was introduced him to my mom and said, hey, this is Paul. We're going on a date. Any questions? I had to be me because I saw what happened, because I knew that that was not my brother. He just got shunned for being who he was, which is a wonderful, amazing, authentic, loving, caring, connected person, just like you are. I didn't have anyone to tell me that. You might not either. But my coming out story still was a false view of who I was. I pushed so hard and sprinkled so many eggshells that if you wanted to, you couldn't give me feedback because I saw what happened. So I'm going to cut you out of my life before you can cut me out. Does that sound familiar? Is that a game or a pattern that you play in your life? When you come out, first of all, let's be honest. What are you coming out of? As a human being? Why don't straight people have to come out? Why did I have to come out? Come out as what? Here I am. I'm coming out as Rainbow Hilton. It could be that easy. Don't overcomplicate it. But when you demand for acceptance out here, you're never going to get it. All you need is acceptance right here. You are enough. The art of authenticity can only be your creation. I can't paint like Picasso paints. I can't paint like RuPaul paints. But what I can do is give it a good old college try to raise $1 million for suicide awareness and prevention, hire enough people to be able to help me to do it, count on volunteers and supporters like you to find their story, to share their story with us so we can help more and more people start slaying suicide and live. I would consider that you don't even have anything to come out to. Who do you love? Start with yourself, then find your partner, then impact your community. Self, family, friends, community. Coming out doesn't have to be complicated. Just stay connected. Whoever you choose to be around, and don't forget, who you surround yourself, you become. Surround yourself with supportive, accepting, loving people. And if you can't find that in your family, in your friend group, in your school, in your church, find somewhere you can. Follow Rainbow Hilton. I'll help you. I'll talk to you. I'll accept you. But it all starts with you. So thanks for joining me on this episode. Coming out doesn't have to be complicated, and you always have a light brighter than you realize within you. Love yourself first and follow your rainbow. Thank you for joining me on today's podcast. Don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss an episode.